Recently, I analyzed 1,000 high-performing emails across 17 different industries, and what I discovered was shocking. Most e-commerce brands are making the same mistake over and over again, and it's costing them thousands. See, the truth is, what worked in email marketing 6 months ago is now completely dead in 2025. So I'm going to show you the exact patterns that I discovered from analyzing over 1,000 different high-performing email campaigns in 2025. Let's actually break down what's currently working right now. Cool, so after studying 1,000 successful Klaviyo email marketing campaigns, here's what actually works in 2025. We're going to be looking at data-backed insights on subject lines, design principles, content formats, and call to actions that drive significantly higher open rates, better click-throughs, and revenue in 2025's competitive landscape. So let's start off straight off the bat, keep it sweet and simple. Subject lines that actually capture attention. One thing you need to understand is there has been an open rate evolution. Average subject line open rates have jumped from 32% in 2023 to 49% plus in 2025 for optimized campaigns. Generic promotional phrases like flash sale now significantly underperform. Winning formulas, 3 core things to focus on here: curiosity and relevance. For example, the number 1 thing our customers finally ask for is here. Number 2 is benefit driven plus specificity. How to double your skincare routine in 90 seconds. So just really specifying timeframes. Number 3 would be personal plus pattern interrupt based subject lines. For example, this isn't for everyone, but it might be for you. Okay. Last point to mention here is that the emoji myth has been debunked. While emoji boosts opens in 2023, 2025's inbox filters now penalize overuse, with open rates dropping from 12 to 18% when used in consecutive campaigns. So just scrap the emojis or use them very scarcely, okay? Next thing to look at is first impressions on design principles. So here's an actual email design that we done for Bizoo. They sell basically these makeup wipes, and there's a few core factors that we've implemented here. So, for example, the main thing you need to understand is that eye tracking data reveals that within the first 3 seconds, users focus on 3 key elements, that being the header image, headline text, and the call to action location. So what you want to make sure is obviously at the top, you have all 3 of those elements and it's clear with a call to action. What am I actually getting from this? Is it valuable? Is this going to be worth my time? And then also the actual image itself. Okay, so branded headlines, leading with value focus. So for here, we put create your own spa oasis. That's value-based for people who obviously are looking for the same sort of experience you get with a spa. And we actually elaborated that within the actual body copy as well. Okay, as you can see here, who says you need to step out to experience spa luxury? That was the angle we used. Next is obviously just having a clear call to action button and position this prominently with high visually contrasting colors to guide the eye toward action. So here, main colors on screen, you can see is light pink and light whites and then light greens, right? Call to actions, black, bold, prominent. You want the call to action to stick out like a sore thumb. Next point is single product images or logos. So reinforcing brand identity while avoiding visual overwhelm is critical for first impressions. Keep it clean, simple, logo at the top, then maybe an image of the products. Again, you know, it's quite simple. This is a one product store, so we've only got images of that product anyway. And then you've, of course, got a logo at the bottom. Don't need to overdo it other than that. Last but not least is obviously avoiding clutter. Okay, so one core message wins over multiple competing elements in the initial view. So one core message throughout the entire email. The intent here is to obviously sell the click. Okay, one clear angle, one call to action. That's it. Next to talk about with design/email copy is the image to text ratio optimization. So the ideal ratio and the most effective emails maintain a balance of around 60% text and 40% imagery. Okay, so this ratio prevents triggering spam filters while ensuring optimal loading on mobile devices. Now, I do actually believe this has been debunked as long as you put alt text within the emails. Okay, so as long as you've got alt text on the email and you, of course, have good deliverability, this doesn't matter too much, okay, for spam filters. But what you want to do is obviously just make sure that you have this ratio for better conversions anyway, okay? So old design, image heavy email with 4 stacked banners resulted in just 1% click rate. New design, single column format with branded headlines and 1 clear call to action achieves much better click rates of around 2% plus, okay? Last thing to mention is just making sure you're optimizing for mobile users. So consumer brands often see around 60 to 70% of opens on mobile devices. What this means for you is obviously design for mobile needs to be a main priority, okay? So single column text, easy to tap call to actions, and larger text for visual readers on phone. Cool, so use short, punchy subject lines that don't get cut off. Make sure it's not getting clipped because on mobile, you can only preview so much text when you actually open that up on your device. Next is, of course, making sure the above the fold content. So basically, if you open up your phone, typically the above the fold content is going to be header at the top here. This section is above the fold. You want to make sure that that has got a good hook, clear call to action, friendly cover image, and of course, the core value of your headline. Last but not least, obviously make sure you're always testing on multiple devices. iPhone, Android, even just testing on the Gmail app itself to make sure everything is coming through as designed accordingly. Next thing to actually go through is content that converts. So the three main levers here is going to be education / how-to content. So positioning your product as the solution to a problem. Customer stories, leveraging social proof, success stories, and relatability to help sell your product better. And last but not least, any new exciting launch announcement-based emails typically perform very well for brands in the B2C space. Psychological triggers that drive conversions. The law of reciprocation. So, for example, we made this free guide to help you. What you give out to the universe is always going to return back to you. That's just the law of reciprocation. Next is scarcity. Having only a set amount of spots left or set amount of items left is going to help them take action. And last but not least is authority. Showing you're trusted by X amount of customers, or even if you've got experts, influencers, ambassadors for your brand who trust your company, use this to your advantage in emails. Next thing to assess is email structure and length. The ideal word count is around 80 to 150 words to maintain engagement without overwhelming readers. As you can see here, that's just a baseline. I'm not sure if this is around 80 to 150, but we just don't want to be making articles. The intent here is to sell the click, okay? So we're not having these long, lengthy emails. It just doesn't perform well, okay? Optimal format is, of course, following this proven sequence. Headline at the top with a good hook. Then you've got your value body section and then a clear call to action, okay? Ideally, you want it to be an emotive call to action as well, like get better skin or access the body you've been looking for, stuff that causes an emotive response. Last but not least is, of course, text formatting. Use short paragraphs, punchy lines, and intentional line breaks to improve scannability of these emails. As you can see here, this could be one big blocky paragraph. You don't want to do that. Break it up into small, short paragraphs / sentences, okay? Last thing to speak about as well is the call to actions that drive action. Coming back to my point earlier is you want to make emotive call to actions. So positioning really matters. You want to have a top and bottom placement for your call to actions. I would also limit mid-email call to actions as it can reduce clarity unless it has been specifically tied to a section. So ideally, you want a call to action at the top, call to action at the bottom, call to action at the top, call to action at the bottom. But because we've already had a call to action at the bottom here, we wanted to also have a mid-tier section here at the bottom as well. So it can be either in the middle or at the bottom. Main core focus for this email is obviously to unlock your surprise. Okay, that's the main angle. Okay, but then we do also have join the 5-2 club. Okay, so that was another call to action, but ideally rule of thumb is you want 2 call to actions, one at the top, one at the bottom. Okay, another thing to mention is buttons outperform text links by 2.3x. So with rounded corners and contrasting colors, it helps with the visibility. Just coming back to my point earlier, you want your call to action to stick out like a sore thumb, have contrasting colors, and we've actually found that rounded edges for call to action buttons does perform better than any other call to action. Okay, high converting call to action text. Again, I'm not going to skim through these, but the main thing you want is for it to be emotive and relative to the problem that you're solving for that niche. Okay, ideal number of call to actions per email, 1 to 2. More than 3 call to actions leads to a lower click-through rate due to choice paralysis. So rule of thumb, 1 clear call to action throughout your entire email. Occasionally, you can have a second mid-tier section, just like we've done here. Again, something to split test, okay? That's pretty much it. If you want help implementing these strategies with an expert, you've now seen what truly works based on my assessment on 1,000 plus campaigns and real client results. So there you have it, the exact patterns that I discovered after analyzing 1,000 plus high performing email campaigns in 2025. You now know what's working. You've seen the subject line formulas, first impression factors, content structures, and CTAs that drive conversions. But here's the thing, knowing what works is only half of the battle. Implementing this all correctly into your Klaviyo account takes time, expertise, and constant testing. If you are ready to transform your email marketing account and start seeing results that I've shown you today, then I have news for you. We specialize in implementing these exact strategies for e-commerce brands, and we are currently taking on new clients. Just click the first link in the description to book your free strategy call with my team. We'll analyze your current Klaviyo setup, your biggest revenue opportunities, and show you exactly how we can implement what you've learned today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.